Namaste, welcome to another bicycle live stream on Saturday 23rd of May at 7:53 a.m. and I gotta say, it's a bit cool out here. 10 degrees at the moment. I've taken my balaclava and gloves off to do this live stream, and yeah. Anyway, let's get straight into a very, very important subject that affects us all at some point in our life, and really is something that we all struggle with. So this morning's topic is why we fear love and how to reconnect back to it, or how to step back into love, how to work our way back into love. So there's a meme that I posted during the week that says, the wound is deep, but the love is deeper. So I want to talk about the wounds and how the wounds come about and how we work on them, why we end up with wounds, why we fear love. Why would we fear love? Well, when we understand, it doesn't seem to make sense that we would fear love when we understand that we are love, that love is the universal force, the universal energy, that everything is made of, everything emanates from an energy of love. And there really is only that one force, but it's understood in the duality of material nature. It's understood that we have love and we have what's called the opposite of love, fear. But it's not really the opposite of love. It's just the lack of connecting to love, and we call it fear. And fear emanates from a misunderstanding of the way things operate, of the universal love energy that we are, that permeates all things. And this fear is behind all of the what we would call negative emotions of anger, depression, guilt, shame. All emanates from a fear, from what is known as the lack of love. There is never, now this is very important, this distinction to understand, there is never a lack. When we understand that love is the fabric and the essence of the universe, we understand that there is never a lack of love. And what we are fearing is, when we say, when I say, why does somebody fear love? As, like, I don't want to, get close to this person or whatever, because, we might start to like them and I might start to love them. And then, what happens if it doesn't last? Well, there's so much misunderstanding around that. And it's understandable, the misunderstanding. Understandable misunderstanding. There's a terminology. That starts from such a young age, that when we apply wisdom, when we apply proper knowledge to the situation, we gain a magical insight that helps us to understand what is going on. So, we, for starters, do not fear to be connected to love. What we fear is not feeling love. We fear, so to speak. We fear the feeling of disconnection to love. But however, at its truest essence, it is not possible to be disconnected to love, because love is our inner core, and it is the energy that is around us and permeating us. It is possible to feel like we're so far removed from connecting with it that we're disconnected from it. But we are never, in our truest essence, ever disconnected from love, when we understand that unconditionally there is not a thing we can do or say that makes us unlovable and unworthy. So, knowing this, we realize that we are always held in a place of love. So what tends to happen from a very early age, just bear with me a second whilst I so what tends to happen from a very early age is we tend to be influenced and programmed by those around us who have been influenced and programmed by those that came before them, who were influenced and programmed by those that came before them. And there is a almost never-ending trail leading back to an origin of misunderstanding. And it's this misunderstanding that is permeated and carried forward and creates a situation of what you would call fear, a feeling of disconnection, and a great reluctance to ever put ourselves in a position again where we feel emotionally a strong degree of hurt. So we have a self-protective mechanism that works from the light, and it's designed to protect us on multiple levels. It's designed to protect us physically, mentally, and emotionally. In times of stress, in times of misunderstanding, we protect ourselves. It's an automatic situation, the way that it occurs. And in fact, to give you an example of how it works in a physical sense, would be if you hurt yourself, if you have a fall, if you have a cut, what is your automatic reaction to it? The automatic reaction, of course, is to reach the hand out. Only up hills. Hey, how's it going? We have an automatic reaction to reach our hand out and put it on the place of the physical wound. Have you noticed that? You bump your knee, you immediately put your hand on your knee. You cut yourself, or you get a bruise, or you bang your head on a shelf or something. What do? Immediately, without thinking, your reflex action is to put your hands onto the part that is hurting. That's a physical reflex to apply energy and also heat into the area that is hurting. So we also do this in an emotional sense. We protect and try to heal ourselves in an emotional sense. But if it comes from a misunderstanding in the first place, if it comes from teachings from our elders that were not accurate, that were misinformed, then we have an uphill battle from the earliest age of trying to understand basically how things work. So the most important thing to do is to go back to the basics and apply knowledge to the situation, to understand that we are love and we need love. And that is the deepest need. And if we encounter a situation at a young age where we feel hurt, the reason we're encountering that reaction is because we don't understand what's going on. We have not had the wisdom, the training from our elders to understand the situation that we are in. If we had, then we would be receiving the comforting, the love, the acceptance from our elders, and we would be nurtured. We would feel nurtured. But because we don't, we feel the opposite of that, what we call the lack of love, or what we fear a loneliness. And so it's a very sad situation when we look around the world today and we see so many people that feel disconnected and have always felt disconnected and are so afraid to reconnect because the fear that they have in their mind is greater than the need for love. But remember, the wound is deep, but the love is deeper. The love is the deepest. In any situation, when you have a wisdom and an insight into the fact that we are always unconditionally loved, that our core essence is love, that the universe is built on love, when you're able to apply that all the time, you have an advantage of clearly seeing the motivations behind why people are acting the way they are. Because we're all in the same boat together, we're all chasing the same goal, to love and be loved, and we're all subject to the illusion and the distractions of the ones that came before us, who got lost along the way and started chasing the shadows and going down the wrong rabbit holes. So I'll keep this brief, but I just want you to realize that when we apply universal wisdom, universal knowledge, timeless knowledge, when we apply that to the situation, we suddenly see things clearly. We suddenly know that what the truth is, and the way that we know what the truth is because all of us carry the truth within us, and we recognize it when we feel it, when we see it, when we hear it. There is no doubt. We just know. If you have a moment of inspiration, what I call a aha moment, that is because the truth just clicked. And you'll know what I mean if you've had that. It's a most amazing situation where somebody says something and all of a sudden all the pieces of the puzzle fall together and it becomes completed, and you just go, aha, that was it. That's what I was looking for. That was the missing piece. If you've had a situation like that, it is amazing. So think about the fact that we are all compassionate souls at our core. We are all subject to the people that taught us how to live and love, to them being lost along the way and teaching us erroneous things. And we're all subject to feeling what seems to be a lack of love. But when you reconnect to the understanding that love is all around us and is within us all the time, you will understand that there is no lack, that we, using our free will, chose to step away from what was a feeling of fear, of hurt, in order to protect ourselves in situations that we could not emotionally understand or handle. So I've given you a lot to dwell upon there, and I'm not convinced that I've explained it particularly well, but I may retry it at another stage. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I want to say a big shout out to my love who is watching. Thank you, my love, for watching. I'm so pleased that you're coming along with me for the ride. So remember, guys, to live vegan and save lives. And I'll live stream with you soon. Ahimsa.